There's a crisis in the online coaching community. Everyone can call themselves a coach, and that's one of the biggest problems these days is who do we trust? How do we know who to trust when there's all these online gurus telling us, "Oh, post this amount of times and you'll go viral," or "Here's the hack to virality." Right? There's just so much noise and people are starting to see right through it. It's actually really exhausting being in the online space. And that's what I'm talking to Malcolm Reid Jr. today. He is an entrepreneur, business strategist, and a profit advisor. And he works with businesses to help them uncover the hidden revenue opportunities in their business. He talks about what separates the gurus from the people that actually are going to help you grow your business, and how, as a business coach, you can show up as one of these trusted advisors who people want to hire and are excited to hire. There's a lot of noise, and so that is the main part of this episode is how do you cut through that? Please enjoy this episode and let me know what you think. Welcome to the Employee to Boss podcast, a podcast for everyone with an entrepreneurial spirit. Every week, I am joined by successful guests in all different industries and stages of business who will share what their experience was like transitioning from employee to boss. This is a resource for you if you're wanting to start a business, go all in on your side hustle, get to the next level, or just hear what it's like taking the leap to becoming your own boss. I'm your host, Haley Hayhurst, the owner of Espresso Podcast Production, a full-service podcast production agency specializing in editing, marketing, and strategy. Let's dive into today's topic. Hi, Malcolm. Welcome to the Employee to Boss podcast.
Hey, Haley. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I am really excited to be chatting with you today because you call out something that I see all the time. I have a lot of friends that are coaches, and the biggest objection that they're having these days is they've been burned in the past by an old coach and now they have to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, people are going into sales and business so much more skeptical, validly so, but it's creating big problems for anyone in the coaching world. So I'm excited to chat with you about that. But why don't you start off by telling us about your journey from employee to boss?
Wow. What was interesting, Haley, is most recently, before I became a boss, is I was in the retail automotive industry, right? And what got me into the industry is I hated car salespeople. I was like, if they only knew how we felt as the consumer buying a car, maybe they would treat us a little differently. And so what I did is I created a process, I called it the 10 steps to the sale, where it took away all the yuckiness and all of the distrust out of that process. And I thrived. I did really well. I went from never selling cars to becoming a general manager in less than 3 years. And that normally takes about 10 to 15 years, if ever. And what I discovered, though, is if you understand the problem that someone has and they don't want it, and you can provide a solution to that, well, people will be attracted to it. And that's kind of what made me say, I learned how to run business. I learned it right from the showroom floor, and I became known as a dealership turnaround specialist. And so that's what I started doing. I started going to broken car dealerships and turning them around, and not only in sales, and they would become number one, but number one in customer satisfaction. And that was a combination that just did not exist. And that's kind of where that journey began for me.
Very cool. Very cool. What were some of the steps that you took to then get into the world of entrepreneurship?
I took those skills, and instead
Yeah.
of working for the dealer, I would then go to the broken dealer. I went self-employed, and I started off, I was too afraid to ask for the right amount of money I should have been charging. So I would do a rev share. I would charge them, we would find a baseline for what they were already doing. And then everything above that, we would split 50-50. Now, Haley, here's what happened to me though. I got fired a lot because I made them so much money, they didn't want to pay me anymore.
Oh my God.
But then I realized that not only was the dealership having these similar challenges with sales, customer satisfaction, fulfillment, that was common across businesses, whether it's franchises, because I went into helping families navigate buying franchises, but even some of them didn't work. And so I'm like, you know what? There's a need to help the owner get the skills to grow as a person because their business is only going to grow to the extent that that person does. And that's kind of where the gradual progression happened. Helping dealers, then started helping families navigate buying franchises. Then I
Yeah.
realized, wait a minute, this is a people opportunity. And that's when I began supporting the small business owner and then supporting the business coaches that support the small business owner.
Yeah, yeah. It's like starting at the top to trickle down, right, into all the businesses. I think that's great. I mean, I have worked with a ton of business coaches throughout my 6 years of business. When I first started my business, the first hire I actually made was a coach. Very helpful. And luckily, I've never really been burned by a coach. I had one coach that I was like, definitely you should have told me I was not a fit for this, but whatever, we just let it go. But it's funny to me the connection between car salesmen and coaches because I've never thought of it that way, but there is kind of a connection there, isn't it?
Yeah, and the biggest connection is, especially now, people have been burned. And so there's an inherited built in distrust of the car sales industry or the coaching industry. Because
Yeah.
think about coaching, right? Someone comes along and slaps business coach on their business card, and they have no business coaching a flea. They don't have the skills, they don't have the infrastructure, they don't have any of those things. And so people are getting hurt. I know I've been burned, and I know a lot of people that have been burned as well, and we're just sick of it, right? And
Yeah.
so that's what it really is. It's an industry that I love. I know that you love. It's just that others have tarnished that name. Think about it, even with buying the car. That's supposed to be fun, right? You get excited to buy a new car and you feel good about it, but the experience, ugh. Same with coaching. You're excited to learn new skills and grow and build something special, but it's, ugh, is this the right person? Is this the right fit? Is it going to work? And so that's one of the biggest challenges I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I hear a lot of stories of, like I said, my friends that are coaches and they get on a sales call and it's all going great. And then at the end, they're like, I just can't hire a coach right now. And it's because of past experiences. So, like you say, in a world of fake gurus, how are
Yes.
you helping coaches deal with that?
I had that same challenge when I was started coaching small businesses. The same thing would happen.
Hmm.
What I recognize though is that there's a difference between a transaction and transformation.
Mm.
Now, transformation can't happen without a transaction, but the challenge is most conversations are transactional. So what we did is we shifted to say, hold on. We started asking some questions of the people who didn't move forward. And here's what the consensus was. They went into business to create a life for themselves that they don't have today. And no one cared. No one ever, Haley, talked about what they really were doing this for. So their dreams, goals, and aspirations were, and a lot of times, time freedom, to create memories with the people that they love and to give back to their community. But they needed to be in a financially secure place to do so. So the business was the asset, at least that's what they felt, that would get them there. So what we did is, so if we adjusted our process to talk to the person, understand what their dreams, goals, and aspirations are, and then intentionally craft the business in a way that serves them. Now, what we can do is we can provide an ROI attached to working with us long before we ever ask them to do business. Also, the consumer is smart. Look, they know that most strategy sessions or discovery calls are really sales calls masked as a strategic conversation. And so we eliminated all of the yucky, salesy stuff around it and really start having true, meaningful business conversations without any expectations of a sale. And people can tell, when you meet a person, you can tell in a matter of seconds, like something's off, or you're like, wait a minute, this kind of interaction feels really good. And so that's what we did for ourselves. And then we just started teaching that to our clients, which are business coaches and consultants. And so now they have a way that they can have that engagement without the yuckiness of selling on both sides.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people do feel like that, don't they? Not wanting to sell because it feels yucky. Or I was listening to, I think it was a podcast from Alex Hermosi, and he was saying that to have $1 million business, you can either have a really good product and sell it at a high price to people over and over, the same people, or you can have good marketing a sucky product and only make sales one time. But I mean, either way, you can make a lot of money. And I think that's why there's such hesitance towards buying online now
Hmm.
because there's people who have such good marketing,
Yes.
such good testimonials, whether they're real or fake, right? The marketing, the presentation is all there, but the product isn't there, right? So,
Mm.
very crazy to me, the world that we're in now with the online world.
It is. And what's interesting is we built our business to multiple seven figures. We've been in business 12 years now. We didn't do any online ads, no marketing, any of those things. And I truly believe that you should be successful, have your systems, processes, things dialed in offline, obsess over fulfillment, making sure you do what you say you're going to do, and then use online to scale,
Yeah.
right? Now you have a reason to go to a bigger platform, but you have the track record already, right? Where so many people are being told, oh, you're one funnel away, or go post every day, or scream the loudest, or do something that catches someone's attention, and that's how it's going to convert. And we can see through it. I mean, it just adds to the skepticism that we're seeing.
Yeah, it really does. So, in practice, what do you tell your coaches to go do?
Well, but here's the thing. We've built the system for them. It's one thing to try to teach someone to go out and, in theory, do X, Y, and Z. What we've done is we took exactly what we've been doing that was successful, and then we just built out the whole business. So our coaches, think about a franchise, right? You know, when you get a franchise, they give you everything, like from A to Z,
Yeah.
right? But it's branded to the franchise. Well, in
Hmm.
our case, we've built the same thing, but it's branded to our coach. So our coaches don't have to build content. They don't have to do anything. We give them all the system, the software, the tools, the structure, everything. And so all they have to do is be coachable and be willing to follow. If they can follow step one, step two, step three,
Yeah,
they'll have success because we've already made the mistakes for them, Haley, and we just plug into this built out business that already works, but it's powered by us, but ran and branded to them.
totally. And then they're able to get their clients those great results.
Exactly.
So, in 2026, the
Yep.
way that everything is, what do you think makes a good coach?
I think the first thing that makes a coach a good coach is they have to drink their own Kool-Aid,
Mm,
meaning the things that they're telling others to do, they should be doing it themselves, right? I truly believe that how can you help someone else be successful, grow, if you're not applying those principles yourself? A coach should have a coach, right?
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
So if you're asking someone to invest with you, what about you? Are you investing in you? That's the first thing. I think also they should be a person that has morals, that values, they have ethics, they're authentic, they have high integrity. Because when you do that, you'll never take someone else's hard earned money and not deliver. That's the second thing.
Yeah.
The third thing is systems. Listen, business owners these days, they don't want any more information, Haley. There's enough information. You can go to the large language models. I mean, information's everywhere. People want results, period. So you have to be able to have a way to deliver results. And I believe you should obsess over delivery. Over deliver. Give your best. If you say you're going to do X, Y, and Z, do A, B, C, D, E, F, G plus X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And those three core things, if you do those things, you will have more business than what you can handle. Because again, you're practicing what you're preaching. You're doing what you say you're going to do because your morals, your integrity won't allow you to do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I see a lot of coaches or just service providers too. That's the space I'm in, right?
Yeah.
I obviously am in the world of podcasting, but I've actually seen a lot of service providers and coaches lean into podcasting to connect with their audience more. And I think you could fake being an expert on social media, but it's really hard to fake it when you have to talk about it, whether you're a podcast guest or a podcast host. I think that's an extra layer of credibility too. What is your podcast guesting strategy? Has that helped with the business growth too?
It does because I can show up and be authentically me.
Yeah.
Like us, we didn't sit and say, hey, you know what? Let's go script out. Here's all the questions and we practice what we're going to say. Well, no, you show up as who you are and you just have a good, meaningful conversation. So we as human beings have this sixth sense. I call it our spotty sense. You can just tell, Haley. So it's helped because when people get to see the authentic conversations that we're having, it's like, well, there's something about her that I like, or there's something about him that I just like. And so that attracts people. And then also, when you give real information, people can tell if you're giving them fluff or if you know what you're talking about, right?
For sure, for
Like you said,
sure.
you don't have a filter. I can't like pull up my phone and say, okay, let me get the right
Yeah,
filter. Let me massage the message. No,
yeah,
it's what it is. And so, yes, it's been very helpful to have these meaningful conversations. And the biggest ones who benefit is your audience.
yeah,
They benefit because it lets them see that, you know what, there is real help out here, and it helps them to sift through what's can be dangerous or what something they should lean into when it starts to feel right for them.
yeah, yeah. Personally, before I work with a coach or hire anyone in my business that I'm going to learn from, I want to listen to them on podcasts, whether it's their own or just a guest. That's something that is important to me. It just builds credibility, right? It reinforces the decision I've probably already made, but it's nice to have that extra layer of all's good. I'm going to go forward with it, all of those things. So I think that is very important
Yeah,
also.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. With the rise of AI, that's also impacting the coaching industry, and that's impacting my industry too, right? Like podcasting. I think there's a lot of not so great podcasts out there, and there's just going to continue to be more as people lean into AI for this learning and content creation and scripting and all these things. What role has it played in the coaching industry, and how do you coach your coaches on that?
Yeah, because we are a tech company, remember I said we provide them everything.
Yeah.
Because we use technology, what we've done is let's go back 6 years ago, right? If a business coach or advisor or consultant wanted to find the real challenges inside of a business, you would have to show up there, interview the team. I mean, it could take 2 or 3 weeks. And then you come back with a report that says, hey, we found this opportunity. Here's some hidden revenue, blah, blah, blah. Here's the game plan. We were able to, maybe I'll say 5 years ago, build a process where we could do that in less than 60 minutes.
Mm,
Same process, we could find hidden revenue just by asking questions of this business owner using our proven pathway to profit methodology, right? So here's where AI comes in. Our methodology works. It's been growing business for years. But what we've done now is allowed AI to learn our technology, and so now today, instead of it being an hour, what used to be 3 weeks can happen in 7 minutes. And then now, not only does the coach have the ability to show a business owner, here's your opportunity for your specific industry. Well, here's also the step by step implementation so the AI can help assist with doing the research of millions and millions of data points that says for your industry, say you're a roofer, for a roofer in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, in your zip code, these are the things that are working, and then prescribe a step by step implementation that the coach can now use. So the coach is armed with all these things that they could never use before. And what we did is just took it again and just put it into a process that for the coach, you click the button, you ask a few questions. For the business owner, they get what they want too because they want speed. They want the result yesterday, right?
yes,
So
always.
that's how we're leveraging it. We're allowing it to do something that we physically couldn't do, but you don't just let it go out there and just go run wild. It's a proven methodology, not the AI doing the work. It's learning what we've already done and then leveraging thousands and thousands of data points from real world businesses and real world situations. So that's how
Yeah.
we're leveraging it.
I love that. I love that you have done the work that now AI can assist you with. And you probably hear coach horror stories all the time, right? And I'm sure there's people out there who aren't calling themselves coaches and just using ChatGPT, don't have the background to like back it up, right? So I
Yeah.
love that you have that foundational piece and then are just using AI to enhance the speed and all of that. I think that's really powerful. What do you think coaches are missing when it comes to scaling? What pieces do you think that they're not paying attention to enough?
I say they're practicing. They run a practice and not a coaching business. They're not focused on the business of the coaching business. And here's what I mean. There's three really key components that they're missing. The first one is lacking a system that's duplicatable and repeatable that generates high quality leads. That's a huge challenge. I say that they are addicted to hopium. They're hoping that they get a referral or hoping that someone through word of mouth will refer them. You can't scale that. So that's the first thing, a duplicatable system that's repeatable to generate high quality opportunities. The second thing is if a coach today happens to get an opportunity, well, they don't have a systematic way of enrolling these people into their program or into their solution. They wing it. It's kind of ad hoc based on the situation. Let me adjust this way or that way because they want a client. So that's the second thing, is a system to enroll people. It's really critical. Then the third thing is if they happen to get a client, well, they leave in a few months because they don't have a system that can practically guarantee results. And that's the only reason why they get hired in the first place. So without those three critical systems, you're going to constantly deal with up and down sales cycles. And then what happens then? Well, because there's no predictability, you start questioning yourself. Am I good enough? And should I be doing this? And so it repeats and repeats. When you fix those three things, now you start to see success. You can actually lean into being who you really are, right? And really serve others because the systems behind it are already in place and you can just insert yourself into it. And then you win, your clients win, your family wins, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I think is the three missing pieces. And here's the thing, Haley, those were the same three missing pieces for me when I was growing small businesses, which is why I chose to build the platform Profit Advisor that solved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That plug and play type of platform. That's awesome. I think that coaching turnover or just turnover in any industry is the hardest. Like you said, you've hit multiple seven figures, and I'm sure it's nearly impossible to do that without these systems in place that can get you more results for easier and less time. I mean, of course, it's still work to get the leads and get the referrals and all of that. But if you don't have to worry about the other parts, then all your time can go to just giving your clients that amazing experience.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I found is that they're working on the wrong things in the wrong order. They focus on their colors and their logo and how their social media pages look. The marketplace doesn't care. The only thing the marketplace cares about is they have a problem. They don't want the problem. They're looking for a solution to this problem. They can't find it. Can you articulate that in a way that's clear, concise, that demonstrates that your solution is far superior to the competition? If you can do that, you will never have a challenge getting opportunities. So instead of focusing on the, I call it the non-sexy stuff, which is building your systems, building out all these things, they're focused on the things that look appealing to the eye, but doesn't produce a business result, which is revenue.
Yeah, and that's what we're all here for, right?
Exactly.
Who's a good fit for your coaching or your platform?
Yeah, what we found is there's a few key attributes for people that do well with us. Number one, they're decisive and they're serious about business. They take action. They're not the type who twiddle their thumbs and have to second guess everything. They're like, let's go.
Yeah.
But the key thing is who they are as a person. They must be someone that's coachable, that's willing to follow a proven system. But the biggest requirement is they must be people that have morals, values, they're highly ethical, and they're authentic. You can teach the skill. That part we can teach them. But when you insert a good human being, which you can't teach, you insert them into our process, that family on the other end who owns that business that they're going to be helping, they can feel it. They know instantly that this person really cares about the success of my business, not just to take my money. So when you have a person that has those traits, like I mentioned, they're a good human being, they give back to others, they're not driven by money, but they're decisive and action takers that are serious about business, those people win. And the thing is, Haley, we have like a 4-step vetting process. We don't just allow people into our community. They have to be someone who's going to deliver. They can't take money from a business owner and not deliver. So that means they must be coachable themselves and humble enough that it's not about, oh, I created this system. That's not what it's about. It's about, can we get that family to the place where they can have the financial security and the time freedom so that their dreams, goals, and aspirations can be realized. That's the goal. We've already built a system that can help deliver that. If you can plug into that and have those other attributes, you'll do well.
Yeah, I love that. I think that is so important to put out there in today's time because that's really what's going to make the difference. The coaches you're talking about might not be the loudest. They might not be the ones going viral, but they're the ones that are actually going to give their clients the results that they're looking for.
And they get highly and appropriately compensated for that. So we reverse engineered it. Is we show our value up front in a non-salesy way. The business owner is safe. Our coaches are positioned in a way that they have credibility and the business owner wants to talk to them. So you don't have that friction that's normally present in a sales conversation. And so you don't need to go viral when your average client is paying you between 25,000 and 60 grand a year and they're on 12 to 24-month agreements and they stick with you. You just need a few
Exactly.
of them,
Yeah.
right? So you don't need to be viral. You don't need to be the loudest. You're just effective. And that's really what separates, I would say, us from, I don't even know who I would consider competition, but that's all we care about. We want our coach to win, the business owner that they're supporting to win. And as long as they're winning, then we win.
Yeah. Do you have the list of on your website or something of the coaches that have gone through your program? Like, is that a part of the community that you're building?
Yeah, we have a community. The community is private. On our website, though, you will see some of our diamond partners. You'll see that those are people who've been with us for a number of years. They've proven proficiency. They have to earn the different levels of certification. That's by delivering results. So
Yeah.
you'll see those types of people on the website or different advisors who have achieved that. Some of the newer coaches have maybe been around, say, under 2 years, under 3 years. They're still learning and growing and building their business and building their own credibility by delivering results. And then as they reach those plateaus, then we'll put them on the website. Otherwise, we want them focusing on getting better. We want them focusing on cash flowing for themselves and really becoming a good advisor for the businesses that they're serving.
Yeah. I love just on the front page of the website where it says, "Is a coach who doesn't have enough clients really a coach?" I think that's a great call out. Very real, very real. Or like, I've met coaches who have never had a client, and I'm like, "We need to take a step back here." So,
Listen, at some point, I didn't have a client.
same, right.
Right. So the key is we all have a starting point, and it's okay to be a coach, advisor, consultant. That's fine. Now you have to do something though. You can't continuously show up without clients, and you can't continuously show up the same. If you're a coach, get a coach. Find somebody that matches your value system and they're where you want to be and have them guide you so that you can go faster, make less mistakes, and do something. Do something instead of just sitting around, what I call it, doom scrolling, thinking that taking in more content is going to get you where you want to be. No, take the action. You're going to fail, but it's not failure. It's a lesson, right? That's how I built my systems is, okay, let's try this. It didn't work. All right, that didn't work. Hypothesize the next solution. We try that. It didn't work. Then all of a sudden, after it not working, you finally figure out what worked. And then you document it and then you do the next thing. Success rewards those people, Haley, as you know, who are relentless and don't give up. Because if I don't believe in me enough to keep fighting, why should anyone else out there believe in me and invest in me?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think this is such an interesting conversation, and I think I could talk to you for hours about this.
We're having too much fun.
I have one last question for you, but is there anything else you wanna share before we start to wrap up?
No matter where you are in the audience, wherever you are in your journey, you're exactly where you should be at.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I want you to realize is just because people appear to be successful doesn't mean that they're not dealing with challenges. What they present to the world, the fear of exposure is real. So, what people present themselves as online or whatever is a very curated, polished image for us to believe what may not be true. What I'm going to say is, look, I've failed more times than I can count, and I'm going to continue to fall on my face as I move forward. Don't quit. Don't give up on your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. Your family, your friends, they don't understand what you see.
Mm,
What you see is your vision. Please go after it. And just understand that, listen, success, there's no sales rack for success. You're going to pay the full price. All of us pay the full price in investing in ourselves, but also in falling on our face. Get up. Fall 7 times, get up 17. That's what I'd like to share.
wow, that's motivating. That's the pep talk I needed that you didn't even know I needed.
Let's go.
I love it. Well, Malcolm, my last question that I have for you, and this is the way that I end every podcast episode on Employee to Boss, is for you to share 3 action steps for the audience to take based on the conversation. And the reason I ask this is because there's so many podcast episodes someone can listen to, so many books they can read, courses to take, coaches to hire, right? But nothing happens unless you take action. So, what are the 3 action steps that you're going to challenge the audience with?
One of the things I'm going to do, and this is going to tie to these action steps, is if you're okay, I wrote a book that outlines the 22 no and low cost strategies that we use to grow a small business.
Hmm.
I want to give that to your audience. And when they get the book, they're not going to have someone that's going to call them or reach out to them. It's actually a gift. I want them to get the book because it's going to tie to what these action steps are. Step 1 is read the book. Now, here's why I'm saying read the book. You don't have to spend more money in marketing or ads or hiring people or DMing strangers. That's not what it is. I want you to first identify what is your lowest hanging fruit, meaning what is your biggest opportunity right now to generate revenue or increase the lifetime value of a current client or retain them. Let me give you some hints. Can you raise your prices? How much does it cost to do that? Can you create maybe a cross sell or a down sell for someone who can't afford maybe your main offering, but you still can help them move along if you had an alternative, right? So start there. Find what is your lowest hanging opportunity and implement that right now. Step 1. Step 2, I want you to take that and measure it. Meaning you got to get enough reps in. Don't do it once or twice or 3 times. Measure it with at least 50 people and see what the results were, because that's going to help you identify your success metric. Hey, did I raise my prices enough because I didn't lose anybody? How many people said yes to this downsell or this upsell, right? Measure it. Step 3, rinse and repeat, meaning now that you've done this in one area, go find another area to do that. And what starts to happen, Haley, is these small incremental improvements in these different areas start to compound on top of each other. So it's not linear growth, it's compound growth. And again, that's what the book's going to talk about. It's going to show you multiple different ways that you can find hidden opportunities in your business that doesn't require you to do all these other things that all the gurus are yelling that you should do. And that's what I challenge them to do.
Very cool. Where can we get the book?
The book, it's 100K, 100K leak, L-E-A-K, like a leaky faucet, 100Kleak.com. And the thing is, the name of the book is called Massive Action. So it wants you to take these strategies and use them. And here's what massive action means. If you get 1% better each week, even if you took 2 weeks off, you're 67% better at the end of the year. Well, where's that math come from? It's compounding. You're going to incrementally get better. Take massive action, do those 3 steps. Thank Haley later for having me on the show and giving you that gift.
Well, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to put that link in the show notes. Where can people come and connect with you?
They can go to our website, proglobalba.com. If they want someone to talk to them, there's a form they can fill out. Someone will get in touch with them, either one of our advisors or one of our coaching partners, and see what's the best way that we can support them.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Malcolm, thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait for this episode to go live, and I hope that everyone goes and downloads that book.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley. This has been fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Employee to Boss podcast. If you made it to the end of this episode, I hope that you implement the actionable steps from this week's experts so you can get started with your business today. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the Employee to Boss podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It helps more than you could ever imagine. Remember, a little progress each day leads to big results. We come out with a new episode every Tuesday. To access our show notes, transcripts, and courses, please check out espressopodcastproduction.com.